Greetings and salutations, good friends, and welcome to Blades in Paradise. My name is Dr. Winston Thoreau, and I will be your guide to the perils and pleasures of our paradise amidst the post-apocalyptic Pacific Northwest. Now, we'll get to the chicanery and shenanigans momentarily, but before we do, allow me to deliver some news. Blades in Paradise is an actual play podcast run in John Harper's Blades in the Dark, and we're sponsored by the developer Evil Hat Games. Use code BARDROCK10 at checkout to save on your order. Bard Rock Network is sponsored by Dragon Master Games. Visit dragonmastergames.com for all your CCG, TCG, TTRPG, and miniature game needs. If you enjoyed the stories we tell, you can tip us on Ko-fi or visit us at patreon.com/bardrockcafe. By sponsoring the network, you not only help us provide an ever-expanding library of shows, but gain access to bonus content, the network Discord, quarterly backer games with the network community, and an annual swag bag. Now, without further ado, let's join Lizzie, Sterling, and Max, as well as myself, the crew of ESPN. Enjoy.
Blades in Paradise is a dystopian story intended for adults. These stories intentionally address challenging topics that might not be suitable for all ears. This campaign includes content warnings for gun violence, child endangerment, animal cruelty, unintentional misgendering of a non-binary person, substance use, and graphic descriptions of injuries, including the eyes. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome back to Blades in Paradise, where campy anime shit keeps happening in our steampunk dystopian western setting, because the GM and the players are colossal nerds. I'm Paul, the GM who just keeps letting these things happen because I will yes and practically anything. As always, I'm joined by my motley crew.
I got a race car, bed, and a bottle with my friend inside. If I don't get some medicine soon, then chances are I might just die. It's Dr. Winston Thoreau, everybody. Hello, I'm Jim. I play Dr. Winston Thoreau, and I am the whisper of the group. And a fun fact, well, actually, a not-so-fun fact today about Dr. Winston Thoreau is that he's really going to miss Juicy Lucy and Sloppy Joe. They had taken to a weekly game night, be it Pinochle or Parcheesi, and he had sat down by the fire with Joe many times and heard the stories of Joe growing up and having to learn all about the difficult childhood that he had and how he managed to come to terms with his father late in life, and that how Lucy had overcome a debilitating childhood illness, and, you know, now they went squish. So we'll miss them.
I believe it's up to me now. Hello. Is this thing on? This is Justin, and I play Maximilian Graves, the team's lurk. I don't know why, because I have recently succumbed to my elderly mental facilities again. So, let's see. From the top to the bottom, bottom to the top, I stop. At the core I've forgotten, in the middle of my thoughts, taken far from my safety. The picture's there, the memory won't escape me, but why should I care? In the memory you'll find me eyes burning up, the darkness holding me tightly until the sun rises up.
Holy.
As is tradition, somebody prepared a very lengthy poetry slam style poem for their thing, so have one bonus die good for this session.
Yes!
Yeah, for the downtime episode, the most important time to have a bonus die.
Hi, I'm Queen, and I play Lizzie Calhoun the Hound with my faithful hound, Shadow. And catapulting off of last week's episode and loosing the beast on the tower, my favorite dinosaur is the Brontosaurus.
The Brontosaurus.
That's a dinosaur that will stick their neck out for you.
True.
Yep.
What do you call a dinosaur that brushes their teeth? A velociraptor.
I got it.
Oh my gosh. That's so good.
Paul, can I use my bonus die right now?
I would like to roll skirmish against Jim.
We are not in character at the moment, so that'd be an impressive thing. You'd actually have to reach across the internet and strangle us through your microphone.
I have been known to do that.
Anyway, Riley, it is your turn.
Hi, I'm Riley first and foremost. Sterling second. The professional tank who kinda sorta works from home, whose favorite documentary is 1994's The Flintstones.
I like that. Last time we learned that Riley may or may not secretly be a dinosaur, or at least was reincarnated from a dinosaur. Last time, you confronted one of the automatons of Famous Nathan, as well as an army of homunculi in the Famous Footwear corporate headquarters. Things seemed dire as you could not find a way to actually hurt the homunculus army, and Nathan turned two of the homunculi loyal to you, Sloppy Joe and Juicy Lucy, against your allies, the Lord and Taylor.
Rest in peace.
Spoilers for the rest of the recap that you already spoiled. The tables turned quickly, however, when Winston reached deep down inside himself and summoned one of Nathan's pet monsters, another fucking Deathclaw from Fallout, to even the odds against the borderline immortal army. You then figured out the one weakness each homunculus has, the spirit bottle located where their appendix should be, before Lizzie got the homunculus research plans. Max then turned into a fucking ghost and jumped into Nathan's spirit bottle, confronting this corrupted sliver of Winston's best friend's soul inside his mind palace. That's a sentence. Winston and Max worked together to weaken Nathan before pulling his soul fragment out of the bottle and uniting it with the original. You then all escaped the building by having Sterling use their rocket crime boots to carry you all on a race car bed on the monorail track down the base of the mountain, with all four police ghosts resembling actor Reginald Bell Johnson in tow behind you. Another sentence, I assure you. The party rode triumphantly away from Salvation on a train stolen by the Lord and Taylor gang, and that is where we resume our tale. You make a brief stop in Tightwad to get paid. Dr. Feelgood is very happy to receive his notes back and pays you the agreed upon 2 coin per party member. I'm going to not belabor this scene because it's just getting paid. The Lord and Taylor gang also depart the train and let you take the rest of the way back to Paradise. Dejanay joins you. And before we do any train scenes, we're just going to walk through the end of heist stuff, because I always forget, and I'm not going to forget this time. So I have opened the Blades in the Dark playbook like a professional. You earn 2 rep by default. This is a higher tier than you, definitely, because Famous Footwear is like the biggest, most reputable people other than Procter & Gamble in the country. So you're going to take 1 additional rep. You definitely did not keep the operation quiet without anyone knowing about it, so you do not earn 0 rep. So you get 3 rep is what you get for, I believe Jim is the one who is taken to maintaining the group play sheet.
Alright, so you get 3 rep. 1, 2, 3. Up. We're 1 away from a level up.
And we did get experience as a crew because of my special ability, Vengeful.
Oh, that would be the 1 point we need, it sounds like.
Rep is different than experience. So we marked an experience here on the advancement for that. We have another one for that. We contended with the challenge above our current situation.
Yep.
Oh, actually, let me revise this here, because I see their paragraph. If your crew is tier 1, you're pulling off a successful score against a tier 3 target, you actually earn 4 rep, because they're way above you. The Famous family is as high up as it fucking gets. I'll give you the 1 point.
We have completely filled our reputation bar, and we are 2 away on the crew advancement bar. So, I believe when do we take turf? Is that what we take?
You do.
When we fill up the reputation bar?
Yeah, there's like a whole tracker inside of your crew sheet for turf and the advancements and then.
We now have the option of, I believe we went from our layer, so we have 4 options going from the middle box. 2 of which are turf. The top is luxury fence, which gives us plus 2 coin for high class targets. And the bottom is our cohorts can have their own vehicles, so we can have a fleet of vehicles.
Technically, we already started that. We have a train and a hot dog mobile.
Yeah, you have a train and a hot mobile and your shitty wagon. Don't forget the shitty wagon.
We do have a shitty wagon.
We worked hard on that.
So it sounds to me like we're going to be selecting fleet because we have already been acquiring vehicles as we go.
Yeah, but we need new hires so that they can do deliveries too.
Well, we got the Lord and Taylor gang. They are our cohorts.
That's true. You also theoretically have all the employees of Subway across all of the cities controlled by the Lantern Corporation because one of you is the CE fucking O.
The only way I can see taking turf instead of a fleet would make sense is if we were opening a branch in Salvation.
Right. Or you were like removing a rival, like functionally. If you were taking over a business venture that belonged to another faction or a rival within your like specific business area, that would also make sense. And now you did. I could see an argument for it though, because you just blew up the famous family's corporate headquarters. I could see an argument for it. Like, you got rid of a big business rival. Or weakened them, at least.
And where we got cohorts in Lord and Taylor, could put a small branch in Tightwad.
That is true. They could be technically official employees of ESPN at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because you know what you want to do? You want to take very known wanted criminals from America's Most Wanted and hire them to be your employees officially on tax purposes.
It's a work program designed to rehabilitate and reintegrate known criminals back into society. Okay, it's to prevent them from heading to a much larger institution.
Companies actually do that with that wording.
Yeah, but usually the person isn't actively wanted at the time. They're usually like convicted and like, but that's neither here nor there.
And usually it's not a post-apocalyptic society.
That's true. Anyway, it sounds like you're going with Fleet.
This is very true.
I feel like Fleet is the thing you've already mechanically built upon with your hot dog car, which I'll also go ahead and say is the benefit there. You made a deal with Oscar Mayer, you can acquire more hot dog cars. In addition to your train.
Yeah.
The only benefit that Turf gets us is to move on to really additional bonuses. So I would make my vote for Fleet as well.
Does anyone not want Fleet?
Eventually, I will train rats to start driving, so...
Now, are you going to train them to drive, or are you going to train them to ratatouille somebody who drives?
Yes.
Tiny rat-sized hot dog cars? I mean, come on.
Adorable.
Yeah, speaking of which, while you're on the train, do you have anything you want to do while you're on the train to Paradise between Tightwad and there? You guys, Dijonay, and the medical supplies. Otherwise, I'll take you to Paradise and we'll jump into downtime, which we'll start with the hospital.
I am currently sitting there comatose in the chair, just holding the soul bottle in my hand, unwilling, like not speaking to anyone, not looking at anyone. Eyes as red as, the light on my microphone.
Dijon just kind of leans over to Lizzie and Sterling like, is the good doctor all right?
Not really. He had to dispatch his best friend.
She looks around, she's like, we're all here.
Childhood friend.
Oh.
Come to find out, the Nathan that we knew is not the real Nathan.
Now, Dijonay worked for Famous Nathan for many years, so she looks very confused by this. I'm sorry, I've met Famous Nathan. Is he, he seemed like the guy. I need more context.
They had taken part of the original Nathan's soul and put it into another body.
Huh.
And that's who you actually were working for.
She reaches out and puts her head against your forehead, like the back of her hand, like she's checking your temperature. She pulls out like a one of those little eye things, and she's like, "Can you just open your eyes real wide for me, there, Lizzie? Check and see your pupils are dilated."
I'm plenty fine. I have not started drinking yet.
You're starting to sound like Max the way you're talking about like this science fiction-y stuff of like taking a guy and taking a chunk of his soul and shoving it into another guy.
You'd seen that building? Yeah, it was science fiction. I mean, I have a gun in my hand now.
Oh, yeah, that's real coul.
Like, in the palm of my hand.
I've heard of those things. That's awesome. Well, I mean, it's not awesome you lost your hand, but it's cool you got a new fancy hand.
And we found the original Nathan in a stasis tube, and Doc decided to euthanize him. And that's it. What's left of his soul in that bottle.
Oh. She looks like she only kind of believes you. She's just committed to she'll ask Doc later when he's not comatose. She was going to slap him for turning off his radio, but she decides to wait to do that.
Yeah.
So you arrive in Paradise in the early evening and are free for downtime. And as I said, we're going to prioritize the hospital because you all took some injuries, and it makes sense you would go to the hospital first. Anyone who wants to use their downtime to remove harm, let's go to the hospital. Is there anybody not going to the hospital?
Lizzie doesn't need to.
Okay, Lizzie does not need to.
Yeah, she took potions back at the tower.
Yeah, I'll say Dejanay like gave you a once over, gave you some band-aids for the scrapes and screws, but it didn't actually cause any mechanical harm.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're good, hun. But the rest of us, the doctor and Max are definitely coming with me. Sterling, you look like you need medical attention. You're coming too.
Whatever you say.
I'll go ahead and say that because you had like an hour ride on the train, she did give you, I'll give you Sterling 1 free medical care because she is a licensed practitioner and would have cared for you. So I'll give you 1 free bonus time of healing when we get to the hospital, so you can just roll a second time for free. All right, so we get to the hospital, and Dr. Pepper walks into the exam room, takes a look at you all. Hi, everybody!
Hey, Dr. Pepper.
Oh, hello.
You all look fucking terrible. It's okay, that's my job to fix you.
Well, what would you suggest? I'm not feeling exactly spry, but otherwise I feel just fine.
I don't think Max took any harm after I reset all of his harm, so I think Max is here because Dejanay wants him there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he like looks you over, like, oh, let me take a look at your prosthetics, Mr. Graves. And he looks, and he does a quick once over. He's like, you're fine. And he gives you a lollipop.
Oh, thank you.
Could you just take care of the wound on my shoulder, hand me a bottle of tonic, and send me on my way? I have things I need to get accomplished.
Oh, yes, well, as you remember, Famous Nathan took our tonic away, and then Dejanay pushes, like, here you go, Doc. Like, oh, medical cola. Okay. So I remember, what was the injury to your shoulder? How you got shot with a laser, the ketchup laser?
Shot with a magic laser, and my lungs are flooded.
Okay, he reaches and he grabs, like, what looks like a CPAP machine or a nebulizer and puts it over your mouth. He's like, this is gonna sting a little bit, and he pushes basically the suction on a liquid, on a shock vac, and he sucks the liquid out of your lungs, which is not how that works in real life. But it's just the most cartoonish way I could think of for him to treat you.
No.
That would feel terrible.
That would be so much worse than having it. This is cartoon logic.
Yeah,
We're
cartoon
good.
logic. He vacuums the water out of your lungs.
Remove your level 1 harm and take a level 2 harm. For sucked.
Sucked lungs.
That wouldn't just collapse your lungs at all. Anyway, go ahead and roll. I'm going to give everyone a bonus die because you are the hospital's medical supplier. So, Jim, go ahead and roll 2D to determine how much harm you clear.
4 is the highest.
So you can remove either a level 2 harm, or you can reduce a level 3 to a level 2. Or if you have a bunch of level 1s, you can clear 2 level 1s. I'm okay with that too.
I am right as rain.
Yep, and he also gives you a lollipop.
Just puts it right in the hole in my shoulder. Ah!
I don't think that's where that goes.
Legionnaire did make the, as a delivery system that is less targeted towards adults, made medicinal cola instead of medicinal tonic. He basically gave you ironically, a Dr. Pepper to heal yourself.
I take it from him and I leave the room immediately, go right to my office.
Legionnaire runs behind you because she has stuff she needs to talk to you about, but we'll deal with everyone else's stuff first. Lizzie, what harm do you have for him to clear?
Nothing.
Okay.
I think Sterling probably should be looked at. They've lost all color in their face.
No problem. We'll just have, and he pulls out a 2-liter bottle of medical cola.
Dear Lord, is that a suppository?
No. And he puts a funnel in Sterling's mouth, says, just tip your head back about 45 degrees, darling.
Uh-huh.
As soon as Sterling complies, which I assume Sterling is complying.
Yeah, I tried to answer with my mouth open.
And Dr. Pepper just pours a 2-liter bottle of medical cola down your throat in a funnel.
Please let Riley's answer stay in the recording.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll 2d6 twice to see how much harm you clear, because I'm giving you a free use of this in addition to your 1 use of a downtime activity.
Thank you. The highest was a 5.
Yeah, so you can clear level 2, reduce a level 3 to a level 2, or you can clear 2 level 1s.
I'll clear the level 2. I was so thirsty, my ribs were broken, but now it strangely feels better.
I remember watching a movie way back when there was this black cat that got run over and it wouldn't die, and you just saw it reinflate. That's a very similar scene here.
Do you have additional harm to clear aside the level 2 we just cleared? I think you do. I think both your level 1s.
Oh, yes. Yes, I have several.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll again because he did give you the 2-liter bottle.
The highest on the second roll was a 6.
Alright, so a 6, you can either clear level 3. Do you have a level 3?
I have 2 level 1s.
That'll clear both level 1s, you're fine.
Cool, I'm no longer tased or exploded.
Sterling is back at 100% health minus any stress they've since taken.
Which is almost 100% stress.
Don't worry, I got you for that too, don't worry. Dr. Pepper also gives you a lollipop and sends you on your way.
Grogu.
Yeah, Dijon is kind of dragging Max by his good arm behind the doctors. Like I think that the hospital administrator wanted to meet with you about a project you're working on, and also all these medical supplies you told me to cart along.
I have no recollection of...
No, Max, you sit right here, and she just points at a chair outside the director's office where the secretary is.
Oh, okay. I'll sit here. What are we doing?
You, sir, and she hands you a book specifically aimed for children. I just need you to wait a minute. I need to examine you for medical reasons after I have this meeting with the hospital administrator.
Very well. Oh, how do you pronounce this? Highlights? Oh.
That's right, just solve the maze, and she points to a maze that's clearly already been solved in crayon by another child.
Probably not the most expeditious route. See, if they just went around the maze.
She marches Winston, sort of against his will, into the medical administrator, Mr. Pibb's office. And Pibb goes, it's Dr. Winston Thoreau, our new medical supplier, and his apothecary, Dijon French, I believe it was. Yeah, yes, dear, at your service.
Pibb, get out of here right now. I need the room.
That's very unorthodox to ask somebody to leave their own office, but okay, I do need to go, and he kind of symbolizes he's gonna go hit the head for 5 minutes. He's gone.
Dee, we need to talk.
We do, and she gives you a punch in the arm first, like, don't turn off your fucking radio, I'm trying to call you, first of all.
I was trying to figure out what to do in a situation. Max was dead on the floor. You want me to stop and have a little chat, share some bon mots before I go ahead and administer some serum to him?
Well, ironically, I was calling you to remind you that he was overdue for his medicine because I got the impression you forgot.
Well, I did forget, and you did get the correct impression, and I just... Why am I responsible for taking care of all of these people? I can barely take care of myself, let alone an old man.
You're too hard on yourself, dear. You have to remember, before you were, she's looking for the right word, evicted from the famous family, you were trained to manage a multi-level corporation. You are actually very fit for this job, despite your lack of confidence that you seem to only confide in me.
That doesn't mean I want to do it. That doesn't mean I wouldn't rather be off gallivanting and consorting and doing all of the other things that a ne'er-do-well does. But no, I have to be responsible, and I have to take care of people I care about, and I thought I was never going to care about people again, and... I pick up, whatever glass paperweight is on Pibb's desk and just, hum it against the wall, and hopefully it breaks into a million pieces.
Roll wreck.
That's a 1.
You literally cannot lift the paperweight. You try really hard. It is much heavier than it looks. You realize he actually anticipated this because he has a lot of unruly people come in and he screwed it to his desk.
What is this thing even made of?
It's made of glass, dear, but you look, she points and you can actually see where it's bolted to the desk.
Did you know Max was going to drop dead if he didn't get his medicine?
I mean, Benny did make it pretty clear he needed that medicine to live. In the letter, she pulls out the letter, and she also points at the paragraph that says, "You keep talking about how you'd be great at running this company, so I'm putting you in charge of it."
Okay, I don't need to be reminded about how wonderful I am. I know how wonderful I am. I'm asking you, did you know what would happen if I gave Max the medication?
I suspected it would keep him alive. I didn't know it would bring him back from actual dead. I thought that would be a too late kind of situation.
Not only did it bring him back from death, but it made him into a completely lucid and sober individual who was able to execute upon complicated military tactics and then turn into a fucking ghost and climb into Nathan's brain.
Oh, Lizzie wasn't drunk. Okay.
Not this time, no. She was incredibly overly violent this time, which remind me I need to talk to human resources, but that's another discussion for another day. No, Max apparently has superpowers. Other than the immortality and the healing factor and the coming back from death, yes, do actual, like, kind of like I have, like the cool ones.
I'm going to step out of Dejeuner's voice for a second. Dejeuner doesn't know all the stuff I want to reference. This is coming from a guy who can summon and control ghosts and is friends with someone who punched a Tyrannosaurus Rex unconscious. And somebody who has a computer brain. You all have superpowers.
I think some of them are cooler than others, that's all. That's in character.
Yeah, so like Dejeuner goes over the parts that she does know. I have ideas of how the medication works, but I do need some tests for Max. So when we're done talking to the administrator, I'm going to tell the administrator to give me some privileges here at this hospital because I provide the medical supplies. I'm going to take over one of their labs and we're going to do some tests on Max's blood and urine.
Please tell me those are the only fluids you're planning on testing.
Yes, those are the two fluids.
No matter how much he asks, those are the only two fluids you're planning on testing.
Oh, if he tries giving me other fluids and she pulls out a taser.
Okay. I need to ask you a favor.
Okay.
As you're working on the medication that we know we need to keep him alive, and that apparently can bring him back from the dead, I need you to find out for me what we can do to make his mental state permanent.
That's an interesting question. I don't know if I'm the best person to figure that part out. I'm an apothecary, not like a psychiatrist.
Regardless of if you're the best person, you're the only one I trust.
Okay. I do think that there is somebody I can recommend who I think you are familiar with who could actually help you out.
Don't say Dr. Feelgood.
But I will get started. No, it is not Dr. Feelgood, no. It is the famous spectrologist and leader of the board, J.C. Penney. J.C. Penney is an expert on spiritual energy. If anybody can restore Max's spirit to its full capacity, it would be J.C. Penney.
Sterling was able to see what was going on and engage with us and inform us as to what was happening. Same with Lizzie. When I saw my memories, the same thing happened. I was able to provide some kind of context, but Max couldn't see back into his own past. He couldn't tell us what was happening, what was going on. It was like they weren't even there.
Doctor, I have only taken electives in psychotherapy. But are you familiar with the phrase post-traumatic stress disorder?
Unfortunately, all too well, yes.
It is very likely that Max has long dissociated from the memory that you saw, and his dissociation made him experience something different.
Well, he was sitting on top of a mountain of skulls, carving his name into vampire skulls, so yes, that would make sense. That would track why that would be fairly traumatic, yes.
Vampires, you say? She kind of pulls out like her notes and like keeps scribbling like the list of preposterous things you're saying. Okay.
You really think I need to talk to Penny?
I think if you want to be able to permanently restore Max's lucidity, or even restore it for an extended period of time beyond the, it sounds like about half an hour, maybe less, that the medicine gave him, J.C. Penney would be the expert on realigning his spirit.
But he's so incredibly needy. He's very difficult to deal with. Like, you go and you try to have like a 5-minute conversation with him, and the next thing you know, you're on like your third meal and second set of appetizers, and he's ordering drinks on your card.
I really appreciate that you just gave me the setup for me to use my vaguely Minnesotan voice, because now apparently J.C. Penney only knows how to give you the Midwestern goodbye. So he's going to sound like this, don't you know? Anyway, I believe he is actually staying with one of the raider factions out in the wilds. Something about, like, studying their culture or something. I believe he's with the Amish.
The Amish?
Yes, these raider factions, you got the, obviously you have the homesteaders in Tightwad, and you got the Hot Topic folks, and then you got the Amish, and then you got the RV colony.
Fortunately, we're planning on meeting with all of those factions in about a week's time, I would guess.
Oh, that sounds great. That sounds like the perfect time for you to talk to Penny.
Have you talked to him? Or heard anything about him?
I mean, I heard he has excellent taste in shoes. Yeah, so at that point, Mr. Pibb walks in, and he thanks you for all the work you've done in the hospital, and I know you had a long-term project related to the hospital.
Pibb, just give Dijonais everything that she needs to be able to prepare the supplies that are necessary, and send me the bill.
Roll sway. I'll give you a bonus die because Dijonais is providing all of the stuff that you're providing.
4.
He goes, I don't know if I want to give her, and she gives him a dirty look. He looks terrified. He's like, yes, she can have whatever she needs.
4 segments left on my project clock.
I will give you 2 segments because Dijonais made all that medicine for you, and that basically got the hospital going, so...
Nope, that's a 3.
Yeah, so you filled the last 2 segments. Now, describe your project for both myself and the audience, because I only vaguely remember what you were doing.
Yes, so after acquiring the distribution contract from Famous Nathan, I partnered with Dijonais French to provide Dijonais fantabulous medicinal colas and soda pops to the people of Paradise. Not only are they less filling and taste great, but they are also everything that your spirit and your soul need for proper healing. And we'll soon be rolling out all of those tonics. Tonics being the soda sense, not the alcoholic sense, to the town at a large opening party. But that the entire point of the project was to make sure that we were able to provide the citizens of Paradise with affordable health care, as opposed to what was previously happening was Lantern was billing for everything and charging them out the wazoo.
Yeah, so I will say the part where people can accessibly do it is on the down low. Dijonais is going to be providing medical care out of the back door, unbeknownst to the administrator, because you guys basically strong-armed him into giving her privileges. He and the Lantern Corps should not know you're giving free healthcare away, or even cheap healthcare.
It's creative billing. It's really all it is.
Yeah, so however it works out, you have it finagled. It's okay, so who do you want to this grand reopen? I can have it set up in about 2 days.
Invite all of the most notable people from Paradise, but there's 2 people specifically I want to be there and present. Mistress Procter and Gamble.
His eyes go wide. You want to invite Procter and Gamble in person? That is very, very prestigious. I don't know if they'll accept, but I can certainly offer.
I don't think they're going to come. I don't think they have any reason to. But I would like to let them know that I'm interested in them, in what they're working on.
All right, I will take care of that. Do you need anything else from me, Doctor?
Just your undying loyalty and affection, Pibb. And I hug him and I walk out of the room.
He's agape at how you two treated him, but he kind of feel honestly, you have more power in this hospital than him because his hospital can't function without the soda, so.
Enjoy what you're hearing? Rate us on your favorite podcatcher. Reviews on platforms like Apple, Spotify, or Good Pods help new listeners find our content. It's a completely free way to support the show. Thanks for listening.
Most folks don't realize it, but the world is ripe with monsters. And when you have a monster problem, you need someone who is smart.
I came over here, I saw that there was a crime scene. I figured, I'd park here on the
crime scene.
Brave.
It's just not our fight. We just honk the horn, everybody dissipates, and we just ride away.
And qualified.
If nobody is going to assist David with this, he is going to pull out his nunchucks.
Who gave him those nunchucks?
Van Helmen's family is none of those things, but they're the best we've got, so check them out on Monster Cafe. Available now wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You whisk away, and Legionnaire just grabs Max and leads him to the lab. Like, okay, dear, time for your examination.
What are we examining? What?
I just need to do a basic checkup, and she leads you into the lab.
I don't, good doctor, Dr. Winston?
Max, I wouldn't worry about it. Remember how we had to administer an emergency dose of medication to you following the trip through the underwater tunnel at the 54th floor of a building?
Oh, I climbed 54 floors? That's a lot. I mean, even for Sterling, that's a bit...
In one sitting.
Wow. No, administered what dosage? Like, was I coughing again? I sometimes get cough fits. What? I don't know where I'm going.
If you don't mind my asking, dear, when's the last thing you remember before you left Famous Footwear?
Well, let's see. There's a barber showing photographs of every head he's had the pleasure to know, and all the people that come and go stop and say hello. That's what I remember. When you wake in the morning, you're gone. When you find that there's no one sleeping, gone. Someone named Penny, I think was their name. She was loved, and all will miss her.
I think that he does not remember anything of the events of yesterday, Doctor.
Max, you died yesterday.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if I died today. I am old after all.
No, your heart stopped, Max.
Did I see someone pretty? Like,
Other
was
than
I
Lizzie?
smitten?
No.
Oh.
No, Max.
Well, that is problematic if that's true. Well, I mean, you just, I think there's a pull rope somewhere on this contraption of an arm. If you pull it, it probably starts me right back up.
You know what? That's exactly what we did, Max. But I think what Dijonais is looking to do is trying to make it so that the reboot function is a little faster and a little quicker and a little easier to access. So if we can just go take a couple looks around, check you from tip to toes and back again.
Oh, I only have 8 toes, and 3 of them are webbed.
That is more toes than you should have for 1 foot.
That's spread across 2 feet.
I thought Max had a prosthetic leg or foot.
Oh no.
Well, 5 on 1 foot and 3 on the other.
But if
he said toes, he didn't say where they were.
That's fair. Anyway, she is a cautious distance back from Max, and she just says, I need to take some samples for you, dear. How do you feel about getting some blood drawn and give me a urine sample?
Oh, I recently urinated. Apologies.
You just had a large soda. I'm sure you'll be fine in a second.
Oh, sure. Just, if I could have some privacy, nothing a lady needs to see, or would want to see in that case.
She points you to a bathroom in the lab that says lab bathroom on the door.
Oh, very considerate that they named it so appropriately. Here we go.
I was just at my endocrinologist earlier this week, and that's basically what the bathroom they have me do urine samples in that lab says.
Well, because it has the little metal window in it that they can just take the cup out of and
Exactly.
put the cup back.
Mm-hmm.
So Max goes into the bathroom, doesn't even close the door. From the waist down, completely naked, like a small child trying to use a urinal for the first time. After a while, some grunting and pleading, you finally get a little urine.
Does he give any sort of resistance to the blood sample being drawn? Is he squeamish? Do we need to distract him?
He's very blissful at this point. He probably wouldn't even notice, honestly.
As long as I can speak to the good doctor, you can do whatever you like.
Doc, you can just keep talking for about a minute or so while I do this. Most of it's just to get him set up.
Max, how are you at planning parties?
Oh, I haven't been to an actual real party in I don't know how long. I think it was probably my 14th wedding, if memory serves.
Anniversary? Your 14th wedding anniversary?
Sure, we'll tack on anniversary to that one. But the thing is, I don't really want to talk about me. I want to talk about you, dear good doctor.
Max, I'm an open book. You can ask me any question that you would like.
Well, you seem rather out of sorts, and I don't know exactly why, but
well,
I'm concerned for you, lad.
Do you want the honest truth, Max, or do you want me to make up some kind of fantasy?
Oh, you can always be honest with me.
I have spent the last, call it, 5 to 7 years of my life hating my best friend, the only person that I loved growing up as a child, only to find out that ultimately, because of some personal failing of my own, I am responsible for their imprisonment, torture, and eventual death. And so rather than hating them for the things that I thought they did to me, come to find out it wasn't them at all, but rather some robot with a piece of their soul inside of it, and I should really just hate myself for being responsible.
I think you're being too hard on yourself. I think for the last 6 or 7 years, your friend wasn't the only one that was bottled up and being tortured and belittled. I think you've done that to yourself over the years. And do you know why I call you good doctor?
I always assumed it was a term of endearment.
It is. It is very much so. I trust... Ow! Holy bejesus, woman!
Sorry, I am only somewhat experienced in phlebotomy.
Yeah, she's more of a chemist rather than a phlebotomist. It's okay, just...
So, as I was saying, I call you good doctor because I trust you. You are a good person. You may not always do the right thing, but you always have good intentions. And sometimes they go awry, but for the most part, you care about people. And I don't want you to worry a single hair about your position with the company or with me or Lizzie or Sterling or even Craig, who's somewhere off to the side where no one can see him. I just want you to know that I trust you, and the people that you put in power are not the people who seek it, but the ones who actively avoid it because they're afraid.
Max, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
And it's often bumpy, and you're usually in a basket, but good intentions are what make the world go round.
I'm not worried about ESPN at this point.
Well, you should be, because we're pretty much belly up on funding. I have a expensive gambling habit.
Wait a minute, that's what all those receipts have been for?
Unfortunately, I thought I'd tell you when we got back to the headquarters, but surprise!
Okay, and here I thought Benny being in prison was the only problem that we had.
Benny's in prison?
Benny took the fall for what happened on the dirigible. Corporate espionage, murder of all of the people that we actually just murdered up at the top of Famous Footwear.
Oh, don't forget terrorism. Blowing up a large flying object is considered terrorism.
You would expect that, a large flying object would blow up in and of itself every once in a while.
Oh, yes, but if they are saying that you did it, it's considered terrorism.
That's not good. We need to get Benny out of prison.
We have a lawyer.
Yeah, you have a meeting with your lawyer tomorrow around noon.
Oh, all right. And does that have to go in there?
That I finished a long time ago, Max. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to the rat. Anyway.
Anyway, Doctor, my test results will be done around this time tomorrow. So after the first session of Benny's trial, just come back and see me.
Wait a minute, tomorrow?
Yes, your meeting with the attorney is around noon, and then the trial starts at 1 tomorrow.
I've spent coin on this lawyer, and this is the first I'm hearing of the trial date. Okay, God, why did I have Sloppy Joe do that? Okay,
you have been out of town. I stopped by your office before we stopped here, and I looked through your messages. Apparently, you did not.
For all of you were trying to reach me by radio for other things. You couldn't have just been like, beep, beep. Hey, by the way.
You trained me into the place of your office, but an hour ago. I stopped by at the train station where your office is, and I looked at your messages while we were going through, because we had to do things. Anyway.
No, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. You're smart. I'm ugly. You're very attractive. I'm awful. You're wonderful. Yep.
Please, I'm already on your side. Stop giving me such compliments.
Anyway, you two should go and join Lizzie and Sterling at the watering hole before you call it a night. De-stress a little bit because you have a big day tomorrow. I am going to get set up, and thank you, Doctor, for setting me up an apartment in Paradise.
You can thank my friend later. Just make sure that you water the begonias. I'll put it that way.
Yes, and she hands you a note with the medication schedule. Basically, above game, there is now a clock every 7 in-universe days. Unless Max drops dead for some reason, he needs to be given his medicine or he'll die. So there's an 8-segment clock. When the 8th segment fills, Max dies. Today is day 0. Day 1 starts tomorrow.
Do we know how many days he can... Never mind, I'm not even going to ask the question. Never going to ask it.
How many days can Max be virile? It's every day.
I was going to say how many days can he be dead before I have to bring him back, but...
Oh.
I would not press that more than maybe an hour tops. Because otherwise the rigor mortis will set in.
It already has.
Oh, but then we can just wait a few more days and the rigor mortis will fade.
Can you please stop making erection jokes, please? For the love of God.
That wasn't an erection joke.
You don't want rigor mortis to last for more than 4 hours.
I said a couple days.
It's okay. I can just call Dr. Winston Thoreau. He can put his hands on me and make me a good man again.
Yeah, he can literally suck the soul out of you.
I retract myself from this bit.
Speaking of bits and other people who've been very patient during other people's airtime, Lizzie and Sterling, you walk into one of your favorite local watering holes. Take a seat at the bar, and the barkeep pours you drinks. It's a busy night here in the tavern because the TV is tuned into the graduation ceremony for the Youth Tamer League. The best and brightest are being formed into teams. In a week's time, they will compete in a battle royale alongside their critter companions, which you know to be called pals. This is the kid division of all the people fighting with taseroos and cocaine bears and shit that we saw earlier. You take a seat at the graduation as the graduation ceremony concludes, and it cuts to local news. Salvation is in utter chaos this evening after the collapse of Famous Footwear facility. The facility itself, a major employer in the city, would have been a big enough loss on its own if not for what the authorities are assuming is the cause of the collapse. A very rare monster, the, quote, fucking Deathclaw from Fallout, demolished the building and then proceeded on a rampage through the city. Like any good kaiju, law enforcement is proving completely ineffectual at neutralizing the threat. The city has been largely evacuated, but the property damage is skyrocketing by the hour. If only we had a team of teenagers with attitude piloting mechs to fight the beast. We'll keep you updated as the situation develops. Lizzie, go ahead and roll to indulge your vice because you are drinking while watching the evening news. And that's going to be roll your worst stat, and then you reduce your stress by that amount.
Which is anything in resolve.
Yeah, so if you have nothing, then you roll 2 and take the lower result.
Higher number for stress.
Oh, higher number for stress. Okay.
That would be 3, which is good because that's all I needed.
Perfect. So you're all set. You do have a downtime activity. Sterling, as Lizzie is drinking, you feel a gentle tap on your shoulder. And when you turn around, it's Mercy. Hey there, stranger. Can I steal you for a spell?
Absolutely. Yeah. What's up?
She leads you out to the alley behind the bar, and she has a entire crate full of cheap dishes ready for breaking because she knows you love breaking dishes. And she also has a new Beanie Baby friend. You see Steg, the Stegosaurus, sitting on top of the crate waiting for you expectantly. I know you've been looking for this little guy for your
I
collection.
hug it immediately.
Yeah, so you have your new Beanie Baby friend, and she just, starts breaking dishes with you, so you can roll to indulge your vice if you like.
Yes.
Which vice?
Wrecking shit.
Either one. I know that we paired them together the first time Sterling indulged vice. I brought Sterling a gift, but also an activity. This feels like Mercy and Sterling have probably done this exact thing before.
Absolutely. That's a 3.
All right. So how are you doing on stress?
Ooh, counting's hard. I'm down to 6. No, 5.
If you like, you can spend a coin to break more dishes and reduce more stress. With a 6, it is impossible for you to overindulge if you have 6 left.
I'll keep it.
You're just gonna keep the stress, even though you guys are absolutely exploding with money.
Just so you know, for as far as money is concerned, you can only have 4 money on you at any point in time. The rest has to go into your stash, which, if your character was to die or retire, determines what kind of long-term life you live. That being said, you can only have 4 coin on you at any point in time.
Yeah, but it can go in the stash. Or, crew fund or whatever.
Yeah, the crew has a stash, and I think you also have a personal stash. You were encouraged also. I think I remember in our Discord chat, people saying they're going to donate downtime activities to you. And literally Max took none. Lizzie took 1. So you can go ahead and roll to reduce your stress for free because they both said they would give you a downtime activity.
Absolutely.
Take care of yourself, Sterling. Self-care is important. Mercy hands you another dish to break.
Sterling has such good friends. So I was down to 5 and I just rolled a 6.
I thought you said you had 6. Did you miscount?
I did, but I was bad at math.
No, it's okay. You told me 6. I'm going to say retroactively it's fine because I told you to roll because it was mathematically impossible for you to fail.
I'm okay with the consequences of my actions.
All right, that is going to increase your... Actually, no, this works out great. It's going to increase your engagement roll, and I'm going to do the entanglement right now, actually.
Oh.
Because I already have this in my notes. This is actually an entanglement for the job after this one. So I didn't just find you because I missed you, friend. I wanted to confide in you. I have some trouble going on, and I don't know if I don't think I need help, but I just really stress. It's weighing on me, and I wanted to talk to you about it.
Yeah, you never need help, but I'm here for you.
My grandma, over the last few years, her health has been getting worse. It took a nasty turn, and some folks offered to save her. The famous family.
Shit.
I owe them a lot of money for saving my grandma, and they said they'll wipe my debt clean if I do a job for them.
Okay, what's the job?
In about a week, there's a race or something out in the wasteland. It's them against all the raider factions. They want me to drive for them, and if I don't win, they're going to take my grandma's pacemaker away, and she'll die.
Those fiends.
Monsters. Okay, do you want me to hide her, or what's your plan?
Right now, I just know I need to race. I overheard Nathan talking after he hired me about he knows that you all in ESPN have some sort of stake in the race. It wasn't clear to me how or why, but it sounds like I'll be racing against you.
Where's your grandma?
I'm sorry, Sterling. I wish it wasn't this way. And she goes in for a hug.
Is Lizzie still in the bar, or would she be out there?
Would you feel like in your heart you would have seen Sterling go, oh, hey, I'm going to hang out with my friend, and followed Sterling?
Probably not. I'm probably still drinking.
Yeah, so it's just the two of them at the moment. But yeah, she goes in to give you a hug. She feels genuinely bad that she's got to race against you or her grandma will die.
Yeah, I give her a big tight hug. Fuck. This will be okay. Okay, we can figure this out. I know you can't say where she is, but I can help you if you want to make sure that she's out of danger.
All right, well, we don't have to figure things out tonight. The race is in a week. I just wanted to let you know. I've known for a couple of days, but you were out of town.
I'm sorry, I've been busy.
It's okay. You have a good job working with good people. I know he's in legal trouble, but that Benny fella, I always thought he was a splendid man.
He is. He's pretty cool. But I should be there for you more. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. I am so glad that you've gotten things straightened out after everything you've been through. And I've been working too, but money's been tight, and I had to take this job. I've been a driver for other things. I've been meaning to apply to Subway because I'm sure you all probably do a lot more driving than I do. I've been driving for Oscar Mayer at his food truck. But one of the conditions for the race was I had to quit that job because Famous Nathan hates that Oscar Mayer with a passion.
Why is the world like this?
We'll solve it later. Just let's just continue relaxing unless you need to get back to your friends. And she's happy to break dishes with you or just kind of depart when you go back to drinking with Lizzie and everyone.
I think after she leaves, Charlotte's gonna take a second and just kind of sit against the wall outside in broken glass, I guess, which might not be smart.
Right. I feel like the second she leaves, you throw a dish particularly hard against a distant wall.
Absolutely.
3 blocks away.
Yeah, roll wreck to throw this dish Captain America style really hard. I'll give you a bonus die because you're mad.
That's a 5.
The 5, this dish turns into a fine powder on the wall.
Then I sit and pout for a minute.
Oh, can the dish fly through the air and go all the way to the hospital and then smash the paperweight on Mr. Pibb's desk in the hospital?
If Sterling had gotten a crit, I would have allowed it. Yeah, so at this point, Max and Winston do arrive at the bar, and you guys can join Lizzie drinking. Does anyone have anything they want to do with their downtime, or do you all want to call it a night? Max has taken no activities. Lizzie donated her 1 extra to a Sterling indulging vice.
Thank you both.
You don't have to use them if you don't want to. You are also welcome to start a long-term project for the Wrath if you want to and just roll twice really quick for your 2 activities.
Well, actually, I did kind of want to start a long-term project if possible.
I'll say that you have 2 downtime activities left according to the group. Actually, I think Winston used both his, yeah. So, yeah, you have that between you and Max, there's 2 left. However, the 2 of you want to spend them.
I don't know, DM, if you would allow this, but be able to talk to Benny's lawyer about maybe getting the Lord and Taylor gang immunity for all of their past crimes.
Benny's lawyer is going to be played by a guest, so that's something you can maybe talk to over the course of the arc. Like maybe the law firm, but it is also the middle of the night, so that's not something you to pursue now. But if you want to just bank that downtime activity and do it over the course of the next arc, I'll let you do it.
I'm going to spend coin the next time we meet, when we do the hospital's new grand opening to reduce my stress, because that's my making a spectacle of myself is my vice.
If you want to roll to have indulged it without role-playing the scene out, just because mechanically you have access to it, you can, so you're not going into the next heist with a bunch of stress. You don't have to actually do a scene every time. Sometimes you just be like, I would like to mechanically do the thing.
Okay, so I will take the thing and I will do the thing. That's going to be 5 stress away.
I believe you were very, very stressed, so I think that worked out great for you.
Yeah, so I'm down to 2 stress now.
All right, so does anybody have anything else they want to do before the team calls it a night?
Is there any, in this bar, is there like a wood-burning furnace or stove? Something that I could get some scraps of wood?
Sure, there's definitely just a pile of wood. Also, like, there's not like a lot of wood, because wood is just like all the other things we burn for fuel. A lot of it got used up already. The fuel is rarer, but yeah, there's like scraps of wood you can easily get, like just scraps. How much wood are you looking for?
Oh, as much as I can get my hands on. So Max, buying these scraps of wood, walks over to an empty table and puts his feet up on the table and kind of settles in like he's going to take a nap. And even though his eyes are closed, a blade pops out of his wrist as he grips the wood and begins carving a steak out of it.
All right, I feel like Max probably is sleep carving, and this is just where like the bartender sometimes keeps an eye on him while he's sleeping because he's an old man, and he's like, because Max is so fucking old and he literally founded Paradise, everybody in the community is just like, oh, it's Max, I'll keep an eye on the old man. So like the bartender's like, I'll keep an eye on him, you all go home, get some rest. I'll make sure he gets home okay or whatever, or he can sleep here if he has to. I'll make sure he's fine.
I sit down next to Max.
Good doctor, can I have you roll for something?
Of course.
What are you asking the doctor to roll?
I'm wanting to know if he notices something that I've carved into the piece of wood that I'm whittling on.
Alright, that sounds like a survey.
That's 0 points, so that's a 3.
Unless you want to be generous, that is a failure.
I just tilt my head back in the chair, hold on to my drink, and just keep Max company.
Well, Lizzie would be there too. Am I supposed to roll also?
I'll leave it up to Max, yeah.
If you like.
Yeah, no, those were snake eyes.
Yeah, no, you all notice nothing. But Max, why don't you tell the audience what you're carving?
So as Max is sleep carving, he's getting a fine, rounded piece of wood and sharpening it to a very fine point. But closer to the blunt end are the words, medium well.
I think that is a great place to leave Max. The rest of you go home. Why don't we take turns? Everyone say where you go to, like, where do you hang your head at night while you sleep?
Living in the poor part of town, I just have a small efficiency apartment, enough to go to sleep. The rest of the money that I earn from ESPN goes back home to Mom and Pa. And you see a lot of alcohol bottles that I've collected.
You go back to your efficiency apartment. You call it a night. You go to sleep. Roll survey with a -1D penalty because the thing you're looking for happens while you're asleep.
I don't see anything. I took a gummy. I rolled a nat 1 again.
We'll circle back to you momentarily. Winston.
Winston has a small little cottage, I guess is the best way to describe it, that he has squatter's rights over, about, we'll call it halfway up the stairs. He inherited this cottage from a recently departed elderly woman named Agnes Caldor, who was okay with him taking over the cottage, provided that he maintained the garden properly and did not make any concrete improvements to the cottage, that he kept it exactly the way it was as it was when she was alive. She continues to haunt the cottage, always dressed to the nines like your grandmother in church, and she's waiting for him at the door when he walks in.
Oh, Winston, honey, how was your trip?
Oh, Agnes, I don't want to talk about it. Would you believe that there was another dinosaur?
Oh, was it another one of those really big, scary ones from the video game?
It was, Agnes, and quite frankly, it almost ate all of us, and my head really hurts, and I've had like 3 drinks more than I needed to have, and I'm pretty sure that one of my friends is a lich, and I need to go to bed.
All right, well, have sweet dreams, hun, and she actually tucks you into bed when you get into bed and turns off the light for you.
Thank you, Agnes. You are an absolute dream.
Also, who are your friends, darling? And all of the Carls from Family Matters are also just chilling at the house, and they go up and have like a ghost house party in the attic of the cottage. It's very quiet, though. It's quiet to everybody but Winston, who can hear ghosts when they're invisible.
Not making any of those jokes, just going right to bed. Nope.
Yep.
Not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. Not referencing any popular memes, just going right to bed. Nope.
Winston, go ahead and roll survey without any penalty because you have 5 ghosts that are also watching your house but aren't particularly close on it.
Well, I'm rolling that with disadvantage anyway. Oh, that's a 6 and a 1.
Yeah, with a 1, you hear nothing.
Just a loud snore.
All you hear is Agnes talking to all of the Reginald Bell Johnsons about classic movies, which is
so
really
his name was Stephen, but his name was also Stefan. That is so interesting.
Exactly. And Sterling, we already established Sterling sleeps in the loft of the top of the warehouse where ESPN uses as their corporate headquarters. How does Sterling go about settling in for the night?
Sterling's got sort of a badly hidden blanket rolled up, tucked away somewhere that they just kind of unfurl once no one's around. Kind of somberly settle in for the night to ponder what's just happened. And
so go ahead and after you go to sleep, roll survey with a -1D penalty to try and be aware of anything happening while you're asleep.
Okay, so if I have no points and have a -D, I take the lowest of 3.
Correct.
I know this sounds like bullshit. I just rolled 2 6s and a 5.
Alright, with a 5, mixed success. You wake up to the sound of rumbling, but like the person has already departed the loft. You shakily look around and you realize, fuck, your Beanie Babies are gone.
Nope. Okay, I'm up. I'm half dressed. I'm after the noise.
You run down the stairs and you get down there and you actually, as you're halfway down the stairs, you heard the bell like ringing as clearly the person went out the front door of ESPN with your stuff. You're like a decent distance behind them, but you can continue pursuing them into the night if you want. Yeah, so you run outside and it is the middle of the night, but like you're also in like the train yard area, so there's always activity.
Fuck.
Roll survey again to try and see if you can find anybody trying to disappear into the crowd. No penalty this time, just the regular roll 2 and keep the worst.
That's a 1.
Yeah, with a 1, you start running after them in the direction you think they are, and you find that all of the Beanie Babies have actually been abandoned, except you realize your bandoleer's missing 1. Just 1. It's missing Skylar.
Paul.
And you realize, shit, Skylar's the one that had the key to the train locker in.
Fuck. I have not even remembered about the key. I'm just angry about Skylar. About Gordon. Fucking hell. I put them all back. I pet Frederick, the live rat that lives in the bandolier as well.
Frederick saw everything. If only one of you was a druid.
I'm sorry, did you say if only one of you was a druid?
Yes. You can talk to ghosts, but that doesn't mean that you can talk to rats' ghosts.
He hasn't tried.
I have coin to develop an item. I can tinker, you know.
Yeah, dogs don't speak mice anyway. So Sterling definitely knows Skylar was stolen. But that's the only lead Sterling has, because this guy's long fucking gone now. Lizzie, when you wake up, you realize your collection of liquor bottles is missing one bottle. It's just an empty spot there. And you remember it's the whiskey bottle that Benny had gifted you that had the decoder lens on. Winston, you probably sleep in just a little bit later than Lizzie, because Lizzie's a homesteader early riser. So you wake up to the sound of the radio, and I think you instinctively go, oh shit, up with anything, because you also see your apartment's been turned over. And you look, and there's only... You expect the spirit bottle with Nathan to be what's missing. It's not. No, you see that somebody rummaged through your combat critter cards. And they went through that entire suitcase Benny gave you. All those cards are there, scattered all over the floor. But you know that's what they're looking for, and you realize the one thing they stole was your championship deck of combat critter cards from when you played in the Combat Critter League as a kid.
Now I have 2 people on my list to kill.
And as you all go into the office to figure out who stole your shit and get ready for your meeting with your attorney, that's where we're ending tonight's session.
If we had just gone to the locker. We were at the train station.
Blades in Paradise is Paul Kinter as Master of Ceremonies, Justin Langston as Maximilian Graves, Faith Queenie Long as Lizzie Calhoun, and Mel Riley as Sterling Ackred, and myself, Jim Remus, as Dr. Winston Thoreau. Dami Widener is our editor. You can directly support this show at patreon.com/bardrocknetwork, starting at just $3 a month. You can join us on Discord, you can come play games with us, we'll even send you network swag at the end of the year. You can visit our sponsor, Evil Hat Games, and use code BARDROCK10 to buy cool games like Blades in the Dark, and let them know we sent you. You can support the podcast for free by sharing us on social media, word of mouth, or rating and subscribing on your favorite podcatcher. Lastly, you support us just by listening. Thank you for listening, dear friends.